Here we're asked to find the equation of a parabola when we're given 3 points. We need to remember that a parabola is a quadratic equation. This is a standard form of a quadratic equation. So we just need to know what A is, what B is, and what C is. So to do that, what we're going to do is substitute each of these points, these x and y coordinates, into that equation. So let's do that for the first point. We're going to substitute 0 in for x and 8 in for y. And when we simplify that, 0 squared is 0 times a is 0, b times 0 is 0. So we find out that c equals 8. So now we know the first part of our equation. We know that c is 8. Now let's do the same for our second point. Let's substitute -1 in for x and 1 in for y. And then let's simplify this. Let's leave that one for now and move on to our third point. Let's substitute in this x and y and then simplify. All right, let's look at what we have. After substituting in, we know that c is 8, and then we have these two equations here. Now, we need to find out what a and b are, but we can't solve these equations because they have 3 variables. We can only solve an equation that has 2 variables if we have 2 equations. So think, how can we get rid of one of those variables in these 2 equations? We can take that 8 and substitute that in for c, and then use those 2 remaining equations to solve for a and b. Now let's move those 8s over to the left side. Now let's take a closer look at the 2 equations that we have. -7 equals a minus b, and then 8 equals 16a minus 4b. So we need to solve this system of equations. We can solve it by substitution, elimination, or graphing. You can even use matrices if you prefer. I personally look at this and I'd like to solve it using elimination method. So I'm going to take that first equation and modify it a bit. By multiplying that first equation all by -4, I now have 2 equations that when I add them together, the b's cancel out. And when I solve this, I see that a equals 3. So now I know what a is, I know what c is, I just need to figure out what b is. I can substitute this into either of those equations here and solve for b. I'm going to pick the first one. It looks a little easier, a little quicker maybe. So -7 equals a minus b. So if a is 3, what is b? Now that I know what a, b, and c are, I can substitute it into our standard form. So I have y equals 3x squared plus 10b plus 8. And that is our equation for this parabola.